Hi everyone, my name is Joe LaGilia, and on today's episode of Not Your Average Joe, we're talking with Amanda Hipperson and Kristin Catalono of the Monarch Academy of Dance in Aurora. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Joe. My name is Joe LaGilia, and today we're joined with Amanda Hipperson and Kristin Catalono from Monarch Dance Studios. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We are so excited to have you here. There's a special connection with someone who's part of our producing team, Allie, and you guys were nominated by her. We're so excited to have you on the show. And just in case anyone doesn't know the Monarch story, which we're going to get into today, just kind of start off telling us who you guys are and what you guys are about.
Sure. I'm Amanda. I own Monarch Academy of Dance with my husband, and we opened our doors just over a year ago with, the mission to have classes that are transformative. So hence the name Monarch. We want to provide that place where students with all abilities can come and learn and transform themselves into better human beings.
Such a great mission. We're going to get into that. And thank you for the origin story a little bit, because I was going to ask you about the name, which I'm glad you touched on it right away, because I think that's just beautiful and just great imagery right off the bat. And then Kristin, for you, just kind of introduce yourself to everybody as well.
Sure. My name is Kristin. I teach the adaptive dance program at the Monarch Academy of Dance. And I was inspired by my beautiful daughter, Samantha. She has Down syndrome. And as soon as I found out about her diagnosis, I started searching the web, and I came upon the Boston Ballet's adaptive program, and I thought that's something I want to do someday. So she's really the inspiration for wanting to start an adaptive dance program.
Just amazing. And we're going to get into that story as well, because I just think that is just the coolest ever as far as bringing that to life here in our community. And the reasons behind it. I want to start, though, for our audience, because I think it's super fun. Just kind of talk about your guys' origin story with your love for dance, and whoever wants to go first.
Well, we danced together when we were younger. I don't know, from age like 9 to 12, maybe. Mm-hmm. And we were at the same studio, and we were friends back then. And then our studio owners kind of went separate ways, and so then we went separate ways. Mm-hmm. And we met again at an audition for Disney, and we were ballerinas trying to make it, which is not easy. We're trying to, make it to our next job. And we saw each other and both got hired the same day. Wow. With Walt Disney World Company. And they offered to move us down there. And we didn't really know what we were going to be doing yet, but we knew we wanted to make that transition from being total ballerinas to, expanding our performing careers towards Disney. So then we moved down together and worked together. Yep. And it was like instant friends again. Yeah. And really ever since then, now we have families, and COVID happened, and I was losing my salaried position at another studio and needed to come up with some sort of solution, and found this fully built out studio in my hometown in Aurora, where I grew up. Couldn't believe it that had been sitting there vacant for a year. I mean, we're talking like bars, mirrors, sound system, floors, everything there, turnkey. And she was the first person I called, because not only are we best friends, but you had been looking for a place to
start. I actually became certified in this adaptive program, in 2019?
Yes.
Or I believe it was 2019.
Yes.
And there wasn't a studio that I wanted it to be a special place. I wanted to know that this program would be supported and loved. And as soon as she asked me, I was like, yes, this is the perfect fit.
It's so great. When you look at just the beginning of that story and you think about the dots being connected, you can always connect them backwards. And we'll talk about forwards in a few minutes here. But how amazing just the friendship story that is kind of underlining all of this. And I always say the best friends are the ones that it doesn't matter if it's a week or a year, you pick it right up where you left off. It sounds like you guys had that. Yep. Yeah, and I think what came from that is this amazing mission that we're going to get into. And you talk about this building that just kind of was there, just very much walking in faith that these things were going to come together, and you guys are here now today. So I don't want to overpass something here because I didn't hear you mention it yet, but we're so excited to have for the first time ever on Not Your Average Joe real Disney princesses. Can we talk about this for a minute? Just share a little anecdote about who you guys were and maybe a little bit about that experience, please.
So when we first got hired, we didn't really, we knew we were going to be dancers.
Yes.
We didn't know what shows we were hired for. Disney's very particular about heights for certain roles. If you're not the correct height, you can't play the character. So when we got there, I'll never forget this. It was like day one of receiving our schedules and training. It was like, they call it Disney University. Mm-hmm. And I got a schedule and it said Festival of Lion King. So I was super excited to be in the Lion King, and Kristin got her schedule. It said Castle Show and Princess Aurora. Yeah. And we still were trying to wrap our brains around, like, what are we going to be dancing? What are we doing? She was like, am I a princess? What do I do? So she was a princess. And she was like the Princess Aurora.
That's amazing.
And
I don't know about that.
like, when they used to do on Extreme Makeover Home Edition, they used to send the families to Disney.
Yes.
Like, if they were filming for that, it was her.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So she was definitely the princess there. And then later I went to Tokyo Disney. So after I was not a princess in the Lion King show, but in Tokyo Disney, I got to play Ariel.
That's awesome. Just amazing. I was asked before we were recording what prince I would be, and it was Prince Eric. So I got your back on that. Yes, absolutely. So that's so exciting to have Disney princesses and be in the presence of Disney princesses. What a great story. So now we have an opportunity to open this amazing place to bring the community together for the love of dance, bring a brand new program that we're going to get into here in a minute. But to do it all in the middle of COVID, can we just touch upon like this mountain that you guys decided to climb all of a sudden? Where did the inspiration from that come from in the middle of just an incredible moment in history?
That's a great question. Part of it was, oh my gosh, we need to create a future for ourselves. And I was, like I said, I was the director of a dance program out in Yorkville. And so, it was like just so much change, but we decided to branch out and see what we could find, if there was space that we could, open up, start a company of our own. But prior to that, my grandfather had passed away, and he was really the reason that I could dance growing up. And without his financial support, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And so with a small amount of money that he had left to me, we took it all and put it, we found this building. It was like someone had handed us this gorgeous space, and totally not knowing if anyone would come. Like, we just said, we're going to do this, and we're going to take this money and give back, because that's what was given to me.
What a beautiful legacy for your grandfather. That's just incredible. I really want to talk about this adaptive program. I know you said that you saw this for the first time on the East Coast, it sounded like, in Boston, and you had this desire to bring it. You guys come back together again. Just share from soup to nuts kind of the inspiration behind this program for you personally, and what this has been for the community.
Sure. So I found out when I was 10 weeks pregnant with my daughter that she had Down syndrome. And I knew a little bit about it, but of course you go to the internet and it's not the best place to go, right? What I should have done is reached out to other families, and there was some not so inspiring stories that are not the whole picture, And while I was searching, I found this video that Boston Ballet put together, and it was just all these children of different ages with different abilities taking a dance class like any other child. And I felt so inspired, and I knew that I wanted to do it someday. So fast forward to when Samantha was probably about 3 years old, I checked the website on Boston Ballet and saw that there was the teacher training program, and I just decided to sign up for it. And came home, and I felt a little discouraged when I came home because I went to a few different studios, and my gut was just telling me it wasn't right. And I remember even talking to Amanda saying, like, I have all this knowledge, I want to start this program, but I kind of felt like a failure because I hadn't found a spot to pursue, this class. So
it was years of questioning of like, am I ever going to find a space? And just for various reasons, nothing really terrible that you found out there, but just couldn't quite find a home.
Well, it was obviously waiting for the right home to be found.
Absolutely.
And that's what it sounds like, which is just amazing. And so you get to introduce your daughter to this. You've gotten to introduce many children to this. Just kind of touch upon just what that experience is like seeing this come to life, especially the uphill battle it sounds like it was. Just kind of talk on that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Saturday is my favorite day. Like seeing our students in the studio, and
I feel the same. I feel like if it's the only program we ran, I could die happy. I know that sounds really cheesy, but when we finally, she's amazing. She has this whole, she teaches this whole program. The class is sensory friendly. We aim to have a peer, like a one-to-one support for every child that enrolls in the program. We do like an intake interview to make sure that we're able to meet the needs of the child. And, I think it took the whole first year and then getting those kids on stage. Yeah. And I don't think there was a dry eye in the house.
Yeah. And what's most incredible, too, is to see how much it changed the other students at the studio. Yeah. To see those relationships form has been incredible.
Well, and I'm so glad you bring that up, because I feel like the ripple effect of what Monarch is doing, it is so much more than just those kids and those students. It is the parents. It is the family members who come to the shows. It's you guys, clearly. Just an amazing mission. So Monarch has, in a very short amount of time, made a huge impact and a huge footprint here in the community. I just got to ask, when you guys think about the vision of the future, just because you've done so much in such a short amount of time, what do you guys think about when you guys have those vision conversations?
I would love to have adults. Like, I would love a lot of programming for our kids with different abilities and needs ends, once they're out of high school, once they're in college, or their adult years. It's harder to find programming. That's what a lot of parents tell me. So it would be so wonderful to have an adult program.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And then obviously for you, Amanda, what do you think about when you think of the vision?
Yeah, just expanding the program to, as much as we can, to make it available to as many children as we can. And we have a partnership. There's actually another twist of fate. Yes. There's a winery next door. It's called Aspen Lane. And they, upon moving into the building and meeting them, our adaptive dance program was our first program we were setting up. We mentioned it, and the owner, Bob, said, well, I have 3 sons who are wheelchair bound, and we have a foundation here at the winery, and we help disabled children and their families when they have to go have medical procedures, and they have to relocate for a little while. And he said, how can we support you? And then from there, he was offering, through the foundation, to pay for any child's tuition who can't afford to be in the adaptive program. Yeah. So really, we haven't maxed out those resources. That's still available, and just really expanding that within Monarch, but also with our partnership next door, and with, I see Kristin being able to train instructors underneath her to be able to take on more classes and things like that.
Yeah, so exciting. And you just unlocked something for me in this interview. It's just we're so brand new that the fundraising opportunity of people who get inspired by what you guys are doing to get behind this from a financial resource standpoint, we haven't even started to scratch that surface yet to be able to sponsor a student, sponsor a class, sponsor an instructor, whatever the case may be. That's really good stuff. And when you talk about adults, though, as well, just by looking at the website, there's classes for people who of all ages to do dance. I have to just say this, and I'd love just to kind of have you guys expand this, but I saw this awesome interview of this gentleman by the name of Truman on your website. It was an older gentleman that was training to dance, and but you guys have classes for everybody, am I right?
We do, yes. We make them available, and we're still growing. So, we would like to have a really robust adult program and branch that over to adaptive as well. We're getting there.
Yeah,
we're starting small.
So exciting,
but yeah.
No, that's wonderful. Well, we're so excited to lift this up, and this is going to go out to the community. And I know someone who's watching right now is inspired either maybe for a child of their own, maybe they're inspired to be a part of this on a whole different level, financially or otherwise. But we're excited to get this out there because you guys are truly real community heroes for what you guys are doing. And as we love to close the interview here at Not Your Average Joe, we love to ask you guys a question. And again, anyone who wants to go first, but we just love to ask, who is your hero?
Oh my goodness. So many.
Yeah.
My mom and dad are heroes to, it's especially as we're talking about adaptive dance. My mom worked with children with special needs for 15 years in District 204. So she was like the first example to me of, how to be accepting of those who are different. And so I would say, like, in the conversation we're having today, for sure, my mom.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And Kristin, for you?
I'm going to get teary-eyed. I'm going to say my girls. My Samantha, and my older daughter, Audrey. She just, I don't know how to explain
She's
Audrey.
incredible.
She is just full of love and
acceptance.
Yes, yeah.
And patience. Mm-hmm. And that comes from,
I think from who she is as a person, but I think a lot of that too I think her sister has molded her into this beautiful light. And and Samantha, she has to work so much harder at things that we take for granted, like talking and even moving around and getting from place to place. She didn't learn to walk till she was 2, so I would say my children are a couple of my heroes for this conversation. I have a lot of heroes as well, but
Absolutely beautiful. And if you don't mind me adding, I think it might have to do a little something with mom as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You guys are incredible. Thank you.
I thought you meant my mom.
No, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you.
Yes.
There's no question. But it's just a beautiful story. And like I said, I think for me, the takeaway from this interview is this amazing friendship story that really, I hope, encourages our audience who's watching to lean in on those friendships in their lives and what can come from them, because you guys are a perfect example of that. So thank you for walking in faith with each other, and we are so excited to lift up Monarch, and thank you guys for all you do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely. And thank you to our audience for tuning in to another episode of Not Your Average Joe, powered by Mortgage Message. We'll see you next week, everyone. Take care.